Welcome to the HAYVN Hubcast, a place to learn what business leaders, owners, and professionals are doing to navigate and grow in today's market. Hear from industry experts on everything from marketing, leadership, financing, and more. Brought to you by HAYVN, a co-working space where you can connect, create, and get stuff done.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the HAYVN Hubcast. I'm your host, Nancy Sheed, and I am excited to be today speaking with Lana Gifas, who is the Executive Director of the Women's Mentoring Network. Welcome, Lana.
Thank you. Thank you, Nancy, for having me on.
I am excited to dive into learning more about the Women's Mentoring Network and the work you've been doing there for nearly 10 years. But before we get into that, I kind of always like to hear about people's our guests' trajectory into what got them there. Was it corporate? Was it nonprofit? Was it a huge career pivot? So would you mind sharing with our listeners kind of your story that brought you to being the executive director?
Sure, Nancy. So I actually began my career in investment banking, and I worked at multiple banks in Manhattan, ultimately landing in Stamford, Connecticut, where the Women's Mentoring Network resides right now. In my banking career, I had just grown up in different positions, focusing on a specific product, but there came a time when I got involved in the women's network over in the last bank I was in, which was UBS. And I got to know the women's group there, and it got me more interested in mentoring and sponsorship for women. From there, I started to look into different avenues and opportunities that I may be able to get involved in as it relates to helping to empower women. I actually worked with a woman who was on the board for the Women's Mentoring Network, where I am working now, and she insisted on introducing me to the organization and the executive director of the organization at the time. And ultimately, I served on the board for the organization and got to know it better. And the previous executive director was looking to retire at the time. And I saw an opportunity, and one thing led to another. It's a rather long story, but it was an introduction to the organization, changes in the corporate world that were happening, and exploring what other options I would have at that time. And it really turned into me sitting here as the executive director of Women's Mentoring Network.
I love that because a lot of people do wonder at some point, like, is my work meaningful, or is it having impact, or there's the jump to the nonprofit. And sometimes it's a huge pivot, or sometimes, to your point, it sounds like it was more of an organic following the crumbs, right? In terms of what kept interesting you and the network you were creating and everything else. So I appreciate you sharing that, because I know a lot of people aren't always sure, like, to leave corporate is a big step, and to leave it for a nonprofit or to leave it to start your own company, it is a big leap of faith. So here you are, almost 10 years as the executive director. Can you tell us a little bit about what the Women's Mentoring Network does and who it's for? Like, who does it serve, or what is the ideal audience? And I suspect in your almost 10 years there's been a lot of change.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So just to step back even so, though, and something that we help out with here at Women's Mentoring Network is that transition resume. So all the skills that I acquired while I was working in the corporate world, I've incorporated into being an executive director at Women's Mentoring Network. Any schooling also, I have my MBA in management from a business school. I incorporated that into the organization, into the nonprofit world. There's certainly a transition, but you have to look to see what skills that you can transition over to help you with your new position. And for the most part, that's something that I kind of specialize in, is helping people look to see what their transitional skills are to different types of jobs in different types of industries. So at Women's Mentoring Network, we are helping women to find better employment and educational opportunities to make sure that they can become economically empowered. And it's a journey. It's a career journey for all of them. We're helping them with job force readiness skills like resume writing, interview skills, networking skills. It's really creating a brand for them, if you think about it that way. And their brand is their message that they're putting out to the world through their resume, through their cover letter, through how they answer questions, through their elevator speech, through their LinkedIn profile, through what they're putting out there to the world. We also focus on financial literacy, financial wellness, so that these women, mainly we're focusing on low-income women in the community and their families. So therefore, any penny that comes into their house, we want to make sure that they're managing it well. We're helping them with budgeting and improving their credit scores, debt management, even trying to help them retain housing along those lines to make sure that they're going to become economically empowered in those different respects. With those topics that we cover here, we're actually incorporating many of the professionals in the community. So there's where volunteer opportunities come up for everybody. We work with many of the companies in the community, as well as independent entrepreneurs who have their own businesses, maybe a life coach business or a career consulting business. And those individuals are incorporated into our programs. We also have computer and digital literacy skills workshops. We definitely saw that that was a need for our clients to learn how to use the computer. We actually started that prior to COVID and really continued it through COVID, where we partnered with companies like Google and Microsoft to teach our clients classes. And we continue those classes today with various volunteers. At the Women's Mentoring Network, we also look to address food insecurity, and we have a food pantry that serves our clients. We distribute food to really help our clients stretch their budget. It's really about helping them while they're looking for new employment or going back to school to help them stretch their budget. And we get clothing donations, toiletry donations, holiday donations around the holidays, and we distribute those all to our members. Most recently, we received computers to distribute to our members. It's something that we're ongoing looking for, that opportunity to connect our members with opportunities like that. And we had the opportunity to distribute computers, which helps them because a lot of them are working on their phones to apply for a job, to put their resume together, because the main computer in their house may be used by another family member or a child that's going to school. So we're here to really help them through. That's an overview of Women's Mentoring Network.
Wow. Okay. After you were at financial literacy, I was like, oh, wow, that's a lot. And you kept going. I'm like, holy moly, I had no idea. And what a holistic approach, right? Like if there's food insecurity, all the amount of polishing a resume is not for naught, right? You know, if there's not support all around, then it's got to be much harder to make these life transitions. I know we're far enough away from COVID. We don't have to talk about COVID, but I can only imagine what an impact it would have had on the women that you serve, what was going on. We know a lot of women were forced out of the workplace because of COVID and just the nature of their jobs. And then they were home, as you said, for kids. As opposed to focusing on what COVID did, what were the lessons that came out of it? How were you able to help? And how have things changed because of that?
Absolutely. I mean, if you think about it, though, looking back to when the organization was founded in 1990 as a welfare to work organization, fast forward to today, who we're helping are those who are underemployed or unemployed. Those are who are living paycheck to paycheck. So this is what we do. This is what we do. So this isn't new to us when COVID hit. We just transitioned into a world where we needed to meet our clients where they needed the most needs. So that would be how to do a Zoom interview, how to search for jobs online, how to apply for unemployment at the time. And also, we emphasize education here. So it is connecting them with those educational resources, Coursera, Google Career Certificates, Amazon Web Services, things that they could really focus on during COVID to help themselves become more marketable in the job market. And that's what we've been doing since 1990. When we work with a member, it's really someone who needs a person to look at their resume and help guide them. We also match our clients with mentors if they request a mentor. So with that, all of the tools that they're getting, what they're doing is being more marketable against all other job candidates. And that's the value that we're giving to our members. And that professionalism that they would need to go out there, to apply for a job, to interview for the job, to secure the job, and to negotiate a higher salary. So as you know, it's a time where individuals can negotiate higher salaries and a minimum wage has risen. And also you can't ask certain questions on a job interview. So we're educating our members about all of that that's going on in the marketplace. And that's where the professionals come in. We could have a professional staffing agency who comes to speak to us about what's going on in the job market, what has changed, what can you ask on interviews, what can't you ask on interviews. We also have professionals speak about their career journeys. So someone maybe in a utility company, women who work in a utility company may come talk to our members and say, we're a small group in the utility company, but this is what we do. And this is something that you could do. And this is what we've done with our engineering degree. And this is something maybe you'd want to look into. So we also have those volunteers who come and speak about different career options, because it's really, we're an educational organization trying to open up the eyes of our members as to the opportunities that they can have. And with that too, our volunteers also do career clinics. Well, they'll do one-on-one sessions with our members. So they'll look at their resumes and provide some career advice as from a third party perspective. And we also have financial clinics where we have the financial institutions, banks, and representatives from those places who will sit down with our clients one-on-one and answer their questions. So our programs consist of workshops, one-on-one sessions with either staff or a mentor. And then we have open sessions where we have workshops without speakers.
Wow. Yeah, I'm processing that, so many different ways to engage. In our ideal world, Lana, we would say since 1990, women have become more empowered and they become more educated and the workforce is more balanced with women. There shouldn't need to be a women's mentoring network, but there is.
Yep.
So I know there's been a lot of work. There's been a lot of change. You mentioned the minimum wage changing, but we should say, and there's still so much work to do. So want to honor how far we've come, but in the same vein, I think we need to be aware that what work lies ahead, what are the things that people don't necessarily know about? Is there getting to be gender equality, or is there a shift in balance of who's carrying the workload at home? What are you seeing in terms of where the heavy lift is now?
Yeah, I mean, what we provide here is basic career services for free. So therefore, I always say to people, would you go to your friends and family to have them look at your resume? Or would you rather have someone who has more insight on it? And I believe that most of the women who are coming to us really just have nowhere else to go. Whatever situation they are in, they are looking for the guidance. And with that, of course, there's a whole shift in the workplace today. I mean, there was a time when I was in corporate, I would have never even imagined to work from home. So there is that ability for our members to negotiate higher salaries, but maybe they don't know that. Like, they need to be educated about that.
Got it.
There's also the ability to request a work from home situation or flexibility in the workforce based on your current situation.
Mm.
And as you see, there is a shift, there's a shift in dynamics in the workplace, and that can allow you for that childcare situation that you have to deal with at home, or taking care of an elderly parent, or taking care of your own health. So therefore, we're trying to equip our women to go out there and ask for what they want and then make a decision about the jobs that they're securing. And if they have to go back for educational opportunities, we're emphasizing going back for certificates, maybe not a 4-year degree or continuing a 4-year degree or a graduate degree, but there are plenty of certificates out there that can make them more marketable against other job candidates. So we are seeing individuals secure jobs right now. We are seeing them being able to negotiate salaries. But the companies, as you probably see, are saying that there aren't a lot of qualified job candidates. And I think that's the disconnect, that there are people looking for jobs, but they may not be qualified for the specific jobs that they're applying for. But the companies will need to be more flexible on that as well, and see beyond and see those transitional skills that they can bring to the table, the companies. And then our clients need to be able to talk about their skills that they can bring to the job. Because when you go to an interview, it's about the company saying to you, how are you going to make my company better? And the person being interviewed needs to be able to explain what they're going to bring to the table, to the company, and how they're a valuable asset for the company.
What a powerful gift. Thank you so much for kind of explaining your members and the people that you serve. And you've also, with all of the different ways you help people, I'm hearing lots of opportunities for people to volunteer and give back or become part of the mentoring network. What's the best first step for somebody who, was listening to this conversation and was like, wait, I could go look at resumes. Wait, I could go teach LinkedIn skills, or wait, I need to get my company involved. What's the best way to sort of take the first step with becoming a partner with the Women's Mentoring Network?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm talking to potential volunteers on a daily basis about presenting at a workshop, becoming a mentor for the organization, helping us out with our food pantry, connect us with companies in the area, looking towards our September annual fundraiser. I mean, looking at our website, we have those opportunities, WMNINC.org. So the opportunities are there, and our contact information is there. I'd be more than happy to share my contact information with everybody, and they can reach out to me directly, and then we'll connect them with the appropriate person who we can get them into a volunteer opportunity at Women's Mentoring Network.
Terrific. We'll make sure to put all those details and links in the show notes. Well, Lana, I am very grateful for the HAYVN connection, to have had this opportunity to learn more about you and your organization. Thank you for your time. And can I still say Happy New Year?
Yes.
Maybe not. I mean, by the time this airs, it might be a little past Happy New Year, but
and
thank
we're
you.
Grateful to have a partner like HAYVN in the community and promoting and helping women to be empowered through women's entrepreneurship and so many other ways. So we are so thankful for Felicia and HAYVN.
Oh, well, thank you. And may our journey together continue. Thanks again, Lana, for your time. And that's another episode of the HAYVN Hubcast. Thanks for listening. If you like what you hear, please give us a review or share this episode with a friend.
Thanks for listening to the HAYVN Hubcast, a place to learn what business leaders and owners are doing to navigate and grow in today's market. Please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and subscribe on your favorite podcast app. HAYVN is a co-working space and virtual community located in the heart of Fairfield County, Connecticut. HAYVN is a hub for business owners and professionals to connect, create, and get stuff done. Find out more about the HAYVN community online at hayvn.com. That's HAYVN.com. HAYVN Hubcast is produced by Sound Advice Strategies.